Hello, everyone. I'm going to ask you to take your seats, please. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 Sustainable Development Goals Challenge, or, as you all know it, the SDG Challenge. My name is Leonardo Rato, and I'm the current president of Grupo Gestão, a junior company in production engineering at the University of Brasilia. I'm also part of the staff of the event, and today I'm going to be master of the opening ceremony. So, first of all, I would like to thank everyone for their presence, especially the students and professors that came a long way to be here. You all certainly come to an intense week and come to add to a lot in the projects as well. So, thank you to all of the 50 students from Brasilia, 16 students and 3 professors who came from abroad, Europe and São Paulo included. Secondly, a big thank you to all of the staff members, professors, and universities that made it so that this marvelous event could even happen. The SDG Challenge is a student-centered initiative that connects students from different universities and countries for developing solutions and possible products that can be strategic to the achievement of the 2030 Agenda's goals. Our focus is in engineering and computer science, but people with all backgrounds are more than welcome. This project was started by Grupo Gestão, professors of production engineering at the University of Brasilia, Brazil, and from the Aalborg University in Denmark. And it is carried out and sponsored by Grupo Gestão and AAU. On behalf of Grupo Gestão, I'd like to officially open the event. The expectations are naturally the highest possible. From here will come incredible and new solutions and plans for the future. Create, innovate, and build. The 2023 SDG Challenge starts now. And for the initial speech, I'd like to call up to the stage the representative of the Danish Embassy. So, Anna, please.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Loud and clear? Thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank you all for inviting us here. It's a pleasure to be here once again. As you know, we participated virtually last year, but COVID is behind us now, so I'm very, very pleased to be here. I would like to give a special thanks to Mateus and Gabriel. You can see him over here, yes. The professors Jens and Paulus Celsus, because they have been helping us create this amazing partnership, which we're very, very pleased to get going now. I'm also very pleased to see Aalborg that well represented here. Congratulations, guys. Very nice. Very happy to have you in the city. Welcome. And we're very happy to have you here to help us, on the importance of international cooperation and to help us achieve the 2030 agenda, which is so, so crucial. So as an embassy, we're very pleased to be here, and we believe that initiatives and partnerships like the SDG Challenge is of utmost importance. Involving the next generation, being you, and as a young professional me, we would like to find these sustainable solutions that will save our vulnerable planet. Students as you have the most recent academic knowledge and also a very, very, very personal interest in creating a better future for all of us. So we thank you for being here, both Brazilian side and Danish side. The embassy here in Brazil is what we call a green frontline mission, meaning that we work with sustainable issues, green transition in all aspects of our daily work. We call it green diplomacy. This is why it's so crucial for us to walk the talk we preach in every meeting and every project we do, and demonstrate that sustainability and green transition efforts are reflected in our missions operations. One way we try to walk the talk is via our newly established partnership between the University of Aalborg, University of Brasilia, and the Embassy. We call it, so far it has no name of yet, but the Zero Waste Embassy Project, which aims to improve the initiatives that we have already implemented at the Embassy, but help us come up with new and sustainable and smarter solutions so we can live up at the Embassy to our SDG commitments. So far we have had 4 students from the Brasilia University visit us in December, where we introduced them to our sustainability issues, sustainability initiatives, such as our solar plants, which we finally got up and running in February, meaning that now we are self-sufficient and we sell energy back to the Brazilian grid, which is a huge accomplishment for us. We also have them look at our waste management and recyclable systems. Then they collected valuable to help us analyze how we can improve our own footprint at the Embassy. So in February, we'll have the students come back to us to talk about the next steps. Very excited for that. The Zero Waste Embassy project is therefore a huge priority for us at the Embassy, and we need you, the students, your expertise to improve us and our carbon footprint, and at the same time, we hope that you see the cooperation in between us and your universities as a playground for you guys to be creative and experiment with new, different approaches to sustainability. It is you, the next generation, who must show that green transition and sustainable living is no longer a choice, it's a necessity. Uncertain times, as our times now, cannot allow us to go back to status quo. The green transition cannot wait. I would like to thank you so much for this partnership. It's highly appreciated by the Embassy, and I would like to officially welcome everyone to this SDG Challenge 2023. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna, for the excellent opening. And to sit beside her, yes. To sit beside her, I'm going to ask some people to come over here. They just might know something about the SDG challenge. And firstly, I'd like to invite the professors from AAU, so Professors Jens and Daniel. I would also like to invite Professora Regiane from Unesp. And our professors directly here from the University of Brasilia, João Melo and Paulo Celso. So feel free, each one, to talk about the expectations for the event. To turn on the microphone, just press here on the...
But you can tell the order. Who's going to talk first?
Okay. Professor João Melo, could you start?
So, I'm the oldest, so I am to be the number 1. Okay, as the oldest, it is good for me to say something about history. So this thing, I said the same, I'm repeating the same thing that I did the last meeting, that the whole thing started in 2017, when I first met Professor Jens in Bogota. I don't know if the students from Aalborg knew her. Professor Mona Lisa was the one that presented me to Professor Jens, saying, oh, there is a young guy that would like to do something in this matter in Brazil. So we had lunch together first time in Bogota. And then in 2018, we started it, and we put together the president of the Grupo Gestão at that time. Sophia was the president. Sophia, Vitória, management, and we put together Mona Lisa and the end. And then we sign an agreement. And yeah, so it was really, and Mateus was also there. So it was just the beginning of the whole thing. And then we have, this I think is the fifth meeting here, or sixth. Fifth, yes. And we had one in Hamburg, in online. So this is the eighth or nine. Hamburg was not yeah, inside So we were there, me, Professor Paulo Celso, Professor Simone was also there, and Professor Gianni is not here, but she was even there. And then in Hamburg we put together the projects. So this was really a very good event there. So it's really nice to have you here. At least one. I know him from last. That is the one that I know. Erasmus. Yeah, he's over there. Yeah, Erasmus is the only one that I know from the last meetings here. So, welcome to all of you. And I know that some of you were in Salvador. So, life in Salvador is much easier than here in Brasilia. So, those that didn't go to Salvador, try to go there sometime. It's really a nice place to stay. So, welcome and thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Welcome. I'm pleasure to be here with you.
Sure. Does it work? Can you hear me? First of all, thank you everyone for coming here. It's a really nice project, and it only survives because of all the hard work that you're doing. And thank you to Professor Jaumello for reminding us how it all started. I also remember that we were in a conference. Bogota was the first step. Then we were here for a different conference, and we spent, I think, every evening down in one of the seminar rooms in order to try to plan how this could happen. And I remember very clearly that I filled out like a whiteboard with notes to realize that it wasn't a whiteboard marker, but a permanent marker. But that's good because the project actually stayed, and maybe that was because we were using the permanent marker in order to make all the notes. But I think that nobody thought it could fly back at that point, because how do we get the funding for it? And this is really only possible because it is indeed a collaboration. It's really nice that the local students here from Brasilia are receiving the Danish students, because it means that it's quite affordable to do. Also, the Danish students are supporting themselves by paying part of the flight ticket, and then we have some funding for the rest. So one of our big concerns when we started it was how we're going to fund this, but all together we make it happen, and that's so nice. I think when I look at what has happened during the last year, I think first of all it fits very, very well with what we want to do at Aalborg University. So Aalborg University is a mission-driven university and has really been developing and is developing how it's working with missions during the last couple of years. And mission-driven means that we are not only thinking about what we can do for our own organization, but how we can contribute to a better world, to a more sustainable world. So that's very much in line with also how the Danish embassy and diplomacy is working. And that also means that now, before we were jumping from ice flake to ice flake every year, how to make this happen. But now we actually have a grant for 3 years, where this is the first of the 3 years, so we can keep on the collaboration. And the grant is mainly for traveling, but there is also a little bit for receiving Brazilian students and professors in Denmark in August. So we hope we can keep on making this an event that's happening sometimes here and sometimes in Denmark. What I also am really pleased to see after doing this for quite some years, 5 years, is that it's getting more official and it's getting more anchored in the different organizations. So it's anchored in the courses we are giving. It's fitting with the Aalborg University strategy. We have the collaboration agreement between Aalborg University and University of Brasilia formalized. We are making a formal agreement between the embassy, Aalborg University, and UNB. So it's like also the foundation that everything is standing on is also becoming stronger. And I'm really super happy that that both the UNB and the embassy is entering these agreements, because I think it creates a very strong foundation for what we do. On a personal level, I also think that coming here this year was special, because in the previous years I felt I knew every student really well. For now, I meet some of you, maybe not for the first time, but I don't know you as well as in the past, and that was a little bit scary at the dinner yesterday. But I think the good thing is it shows that we are not so dependent on individual people, but that other people are also helping and taking over. So especially Daniel for all the work that you have been doing here, Matthäus, of course, Rasmus, Michael as well. So I think that's actually making the project stronger and more sustainable, and that's important because it means that we can keep on doing this, even if there is a person who is doing something else, busy, not here anymore. We are still doing this, and I see the same on the Brazilian side, with also more professors being involved here. That's also really, really nice to see. I think, and I said this last year, that we have one thing that we really need to achieve together, and that is to make sure that the solutions we create, that they also make an impact and a difference for the environment when talking sustainability, and for the waste pickers when we are talking projects together with the waste pickers, so that we manage to take the ideas and bring them into life and into impact. And I think that this is a difficult theme. So when we are starting with 10 topics or 10 ideas, I think it's not necessarily a failure that only 2 of them survive. So I think when looking at what is a success, it's not to look at how many failed, how many succeeded. It is to look at how many succeeded, because the product that succeed actually makes a real difference for some of the people who need it the most. So I hope we can help each other, that some projects are making it a little, some projects are making it further, but also to make sure that some projects are making it all the way, because it's also an important part of the story that we are telling, and the impact that we are giving from all the work being put into this. And that would be my opening remarks. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Good. We made it. It was, at least for us, software education at a semester. It was a very intense one. In the case of the 5 software students who came here, they worked really, really hard under the supervision as a product owner of Matthäus on an educational application aimed for waste pickers. As some of you might know, Aalborg University is a problem-based learning university, which means that every semester students are supposed to work together on a project. And our 5th semester has been designed in this way, where this project is basically the main activity of the entire semester, which is why we from the computer science department are very much committed into this project, because it's a keystone of our education. So I would therefore like to thank, first of all, Jens for open also to us this amazing experience and opportunity. University of Brasilia people and Grupo Gestal who made this entire organization possible. I would also like to thank our students who are here, who have been kind of challenged throughout the semester to develop an application that it's kind of working, and now they are testing it out. And yeah, and my final thank you, I guess, is definitely Mateus, because without you, we would definitely not be here. So thank you so much.
Well, good afternoon for everyone. I will warm up my English. In 10 minutes, I think I will finish, and in 15 minutes, it will be very hot. So I have only 2 words that can explain my feelings here: happiness and proud. Happiness for seeing so many people talking about waste speakers. It's something amazing for me. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when I started to work with them, it was not easy. And nowadays we have so many people working with us, and so many teachers and so many students. And I think it's amazing. We are going to, like Ian said, we are trying to change the world. And a little bit we can do here is a great challenge for us, and more challenge for them. And proud for this organization, because everybody talked about the SDG and the challenges, the 8. It's not the 7, it's the 8, isn't it? Yes. The eight time we are together. But the protagonists here are the students. The teachers, we are on the side. They have done everything. That's more important for us. So I'm very proud from the students that some are not students anymore, not here. But they started here, and I think it's a good example for, I have some colleagues here that work with PBL and project-based learning, and that's the idea from that we started this, and it's a good example. So I want to thank the Grupo Gestão and the students that are involved, because without you, it will not happen like it happens here. And remember, we stayed this week thinking and planning the projects we'll work the next months, and these projects must talk about the SDGs, the 17 of them. And if you think on your project after this week, I think the Friday we will have this in mind, how many SDGs goals you are searching in your project. It's a good idea, so we can make this exercise, so we can talk about this Friday. And 6 years. And the first year, it was not easy. Now it's easier. And in the 6 years, we have, you are going to meet them on Wednesday, in 2 days. But we have 1,500 waste speakers working in one place. And 6 years ago, they were in the open dump, working over the garbage. So it's a great change of word, of living, way of living. But every time I can talk to my students, they gave the first step. And we are here to help them to think the other steps. And you more than us, you have to talk with them, you have to imagine and to be creative, to see how we can help them to, they give the step they want to do, not the step we want them to do. The step they want to do, we can give some help. So what kind of help we can do? We can give them. That's the idea. And we have the 1,500 speakers we are going to meet. And in this side, we have 200 students. Not today. Today we have only 60, 70, I think, here. But in the challenge, this challenge, we have about 50 inscriptions. I don't know. But when you talk about all the teachers here that are working, Edgar, Simone, Márcia, me, João Melo, we have each one 40, 45 students in his class. And if you sum them, we have more than 200 students working with them. So Edgar, and I think it's good. I don't know how to say this, but you have to think how to make it bigger. So Jens talked about the institutions, and we have 3 institutions, 4 institutions if you think about UNESCO here. the embassy, the Aalborg University, UNB, and UNESCO. We had another ones, if you see here, that worked with us in these 6 years. But I think about people. The institutions does not exist if you don't have people in there. So how we can evolve me, Simone, Edgar, Márcia, João Melo, and other teachers here, and the students, and how Aalborg and how we can meet Netherlands, and how we can meet people here. And we are starting with the speakers. That's the main objective here. But we can think about other things to do. So every 6 months we start a new class, and they have good ideas, but we have to stop in 6 months. So now it's formal. Now here, when we started, I was at the government. So in 2 years I came back to university like a professor, and I become the vice head of department, and now I am the vice director here. So I think we can make more things, but we need you to think about it, how we can be creative to make this evolution and to make it, when I say big, it's not bigger because of the size, bigger because of the importance. So thank you very much for being here. I hope you have a very, very good week here working with us together. And you in this morning, you meet the campus, didn't you? You make the tour in the campus. So you see the campus. The campus is we have here about 50,000 students at the university. So it's a big campus. And about 5,000, 3,000 teachers and 1,000 technics that work here. In this institute, the Technology Institute, we have 8,000 students here. And we are working only with 200. And I have a teacher here from arts, that's a good friend, and with paper recycling. And we are trying to make more people interested here. That's the idea. So we have 8,000 students. We're only 200 working for us, Mateus. Gabriel, that's work. Okay. Okay. And I hope you enjoy this week like I am enjoying now. Thank you very much, and welcome to Brasilia and the Technology Institute of Brasilia.
Thank you all. You may take your seats. We definitely have a lot to learn with each of you. Yeah.
Come back to the seats.
Thank you. We definitely have a lot to learn with each of these people, and this week will show us that. So to all of the participants in the event, the most that you can take out of each one of them, please do. You won't regret it. And now we're going to talk about what is, in fact, the SDG challenge. And to talk about it to us, I'm going to call up a specialist in UNB, AAU, and the SDG challenge. So, Matheus Halbi, please.
Thank you so much, Hatu. Thank you. And special thanks to everybody, especially now from all the members of the table. So the embassy, the professors, it was great. And we have already learned a little bit about what is the SDG challenge. The professors told us. So Professor João Melo talked about the origins. Jens also talked about the origins and the impact. The Danish embassy talked about concrete projects that we are aiming at doing, that we are doing at the embassy. Also, Professor Daniel talked about some of the efforts we have made. And all this is part of the SDG challenge. But to summarize, the SDG challenge is a student-led initiative. And it's not for nothing. It's because why do the students, they would need to be the protagonists? Why is that needed? Because the students are the ones who are going to be the future people who are going to hold the power in society. And especially university students, they have the knowledge. They are going to be the ones with the knowledge. Here, we are engineers. We also are from other areas. And then I think, these people are the people with the best condition because you have the knowledge. And with knowledge, it comes the power. And with the power, it comes the great responsibility. And therefore, if we are aiming at having a sustainable future, we need to have leaders to make it happen. And who is in better position than the students of universities? Who is in better position than engineers, than computer scientists, or people from the humanities who understand the complexity of the problems of society? Who is in better position than us to take the lead? Who is in better position than us to take the responsibility? So the SDG challenge is an entire process that is built on this ground, and the ground is that we need to take the responsibility. And we here are the ones in the best position to do it. Therefore, thanking everybody to be here. Let's do the job. And that's it. So it's a short presentation. I know it's in the program. It was 15 minutes, but I think all the participations, they already encompassed everything, and that's it. And Gabriel, of course, and Hato will present the details of the process of the SDG challenge. So these are the principles behind it, and then the process will be phenomenally presented by Gabriel and Hato. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Haubi. Wonderful. And now, to explain the recent scenario of one of our main subjects, I would like to call up Professor Paulo Celso to speak about the lixão estrutural. Okay?
Marcão? Well, Marcão, thank you. Well, guys, I'm going to present some pictures. I think it's better than words, but I have some words also to say about that. We closed the second world's largest open dump in the world 5 years ago when we started this partnership. But today we're going to talk about the day after it. And that's what we are talking about. For you that came from Denmark, we have here the HDI, the Human Development Index of the world, of the countries of the world. And you can see Brazil is not that bad. We are green yet. We are not in brown or yellow. So we are not that bad, but it's not good, but not that bad. And it's about life expectancy, education, and income. But when you see the Gini index, Brazil is bad. So it's about inequality. And when you talk about inequality, Brasilia is the most unequal city in Brazil. You are going to see it in the Wednesday. People are very, very rich in one side of the street and very, very poor on the other side. So that's to make an introduction about the open dumps in Brazil. And about waste management, if you see here, these are some countries. It's a report of IPCC about several countries. And you have in blue recycling, in, I don't know if it's yellow or orange, but I think it's orange. You have the landfill, and in red you have the waste to energy initiatives. And you can see people start to recycle and to make energy from waste. And when they go back very good, they do like Denmark, that you have almost about 40% of the waste recycled and 55% of the waste into energy. And only 5% of the waste in Denmark goes to a landfill. But you see in Brazil, you have about 2% of the waste recycled, 0% into energy, and 98% of the waste goes to landfills. And if I get the not 98% to landfills, 65% to landfills and 32% to open dumps. So I have a great challenge in this in Brazil. And when you talk about this, this is a study from World Bank 5 years ago, and they made the simulation scenarios to 2050. In 2020, we were about to generate 2 billion tons of waste every year in the world. I don't know, every time I say this number, I stop and you have to think about it. 2 billion tons, 2 trillion kilos. And if you start to make the simulation, if nobody does anything in 2050, we are going to have 3.4 billion tons. Brazil is responsible nowadays for 8 million tons per year. Brasilia, ICDF is the federal district, it's 800,000 tons. It's easy to ask about a solution. Everybody in Brazil nowadays are specialists in waste. Everybody has an idea, a good idea, how to do, how to face it. But they will say, generate less and recycle more. It's not easy to generate less in Brazil. We generate about 1 kilo per person per day. And if you see in Denmark and other countries, it's close to 2 kilos per ton per day. So I will be glad if in the next years we become more rich with a better GDP and with the same amount of garbage. It's good for me. We don't have to reduce, we have to keep it in 1 kilo per person. But how we do this, it's about a waste management system integrated. It's not easy. You are here in Brazil. I think you already gone to the cathedral, Mateus? Yes, no? You visit the cathedral? Yes, you must visit, it's beautiful. And Brasilia is a city with 63 years only. It's a very young city for the part of Europe. But we have 3 million inhabitants here now. We have the highest per capita income in the country, how I said, the most unequal city in Brazil. We are the headquarters of the federal government here. I think you saw the 8th of January, what they have done there. And in this beautiful city, you had the second largest open dump in the world. They make the project before starting the city. It's a planned city, but they forgot about the waste. So we had this until 2018. It's about 40 million tons of garbage accumulated in 50 years. You can see here a very close photo and a picture with a machine and people. We have children there, and we have about 4 deaths every year in accidents. So that was the reality of the people we are going to talk in 2 days. Don't forget this. They have changed a lot in 5 years. So they are doing their best. We can help them, but they are doing their best. And we made a plan to finish that open dump. First, finish the irregular activities in that area. We are going to see there. Oh, you're not going to visit the dump, but it's closed. You can only get in with construction waste, only with debris. The second goal was incorporate waste pickers as public service providers. The third one, implement recyclable collection. And the third one, modernize the urban cleaning service. It's a public service in Brasilia. So we did all of them in 4 years, but we can do better. How we did this? I like this picture. Every presentation I show it because it was a participative job. It was not done in the office with the air. We did it with the people. So we talked with them. This time was it's the headquarters of the Brazilian government in Brasilia. And this one with the white hair, was the governor at that moment. And the others around him are the waste pickers saying, don't close the waste dump. You cannot this. We are going to starve. Don't do it. We made the capacitation for them in 2 years. And some pictures here, sometimes with 500 people together, sometimes with 12, 10 people together, sometimes with machines. They can learn how to keep and work with them. And nowadays, we have 1,800 waste speakers working directly on 44 contracts with 32 cooperatives. It's about 1,500,000 reais per month they receive. It's a payment for their service. It's not social assistance, okay? They are paid for the service they do. We are going to see it in 2 days. And they are working in facilities like this, a material recovery facility. We built 4 of them. You're going to see 2 of them. And they have nowadays a decent work. If you remember that picture I said, remember that and see the difference between them, the same people in different conditions. They have a floor, they have a roof, they have a bathroom. For me, it's very different. It's the side view of the process we are going to visit. We are going to see in detail there, so I will not stay, but on the open dump, they were walking in the garbage, looking for recyclable materials. Now the garbage pass in front of them in belts. So they have not an automation, but some kind of better process to work nowadays. We had the landfill, one inaugurated here in Brasilia. It's going. We said it was going to last for 15 years. It started 5 years ago. It only has 3 years to finish it. And we have to make a new open dumping, a new landfill besides it. Because of this work, we make a manual for the federal government in Brazil. It's a closing dumps manual, with the help of the German people of GIZ, and with 10 steps to close a dump. We have 3,000 dumps opened in Brazil yet. So we have this manual. We had done it 2 years ago, and it's in the internet. I forgot to put here the link, but in the internet you can download it. It's in Portuguese, sorry. And we are thinking about the future of the area. The environmental recovery with the energy recovery, here done by colleagues here at this university. Nowadays it's used for debris treatment. 6,000 tons of debris treatment every day. Every time I talk about numbers so we can understand the size of the problem. 6,000 tons of debris every day come to the site. And the feasibility, each technical as economic for future uses. The student of University of a colleague from Brazil, he was the director here, and is about the energy we can use for gas and for materials. So we have this project done, but we don't have the funding yet to do it. So you can see it's the site. It's a picture of the site. We are going to use the gas for that generation of energy, and the generations here, and solar energy, and to make the mining of the place. We say landfill mining, it's the technical we use there. And the thermoelectrics to burn the waste. And processing the showroom. Showroom is the slurry, is that liquid that comes from the waste. And here, this work here with the speakers is about the circular economy perspective for waste management. If you see, you start producing here on the extracted materials from the nature. You produce, you make the logistics and then transportation of them. People consume it, and it becomes waste. When it becomes waste, sometimes in 1 hour, sometimes in 10 years, you make the transportation again, and you have this point of, so you have to make a decision. You are going to reuse it, recycle, or treat it. If you don't have this decision, it's going to become, we call here, reject. It's a waste, it's garbage, it's going to landfill. So we are working to make more recycling with the waste pickers. Here in Brasilia, we have this kind of, this is the flow of the process of waste, I'm sorry, and we have the packaging of waste in the home, the citizens do this. So the citizens do the segregation, the packaging, and the storage of the waste. And then you have the trucks for the collections. Here in Brazil, we have conventional collections for garbage, mixed, and selective collections only for recyclables. And the selective collections, we have the companies doing it and the cooperatives. You are going to visit them, they do selective collection. And some points for recyclables and garbage. You have the transfers, 5 places for transfers, the name of the cities where we have the transfers of the garbage from trucks to bigger trucks. And the treatments. Nowadays, all these treatments, we're going talking about sorting the recyclables from the waste. Again, in the cities, Braslândia, Ceilândia, Paranoá, Varjão, Sobradinho, these places are all managed by waste pickers. 5 years ago, they were there. 20 years ago, they were there, but like ghosts. Now they have a contract to be there. They are working with a contract. And we have the composting in Ceilândia. We don't have waste pickers making composting yet. We have a group, a project, if I'm right, Gabriel, we have a project for composting for, yes, we have a project for composting. And the final destination, we send the garbage for the landfill. The RDF, it's fuel to the cement industry in Brasilia. The compost you give to agriculture by Emater, it's the government of Brasilia, and recyclables are sold to the industry. And the idea of this, when I talk every time about this project, is how to improve it, how we can improve and increase the participation of the cooperatives in the system. Here, in the sorting plants, we have more than 10 sorting plants. 4 of them are very new. You are going to visit 2 of them that they have 2 years old yet only. And other place is in the selective collection. The main challenges we have here is to increase the quality and the quantity of the collected material. In Brazil, only 4% of the material, the garbage, becomes recyclable items to go to the industry. We have a potential of 35%, only 4%. Private contracts, nowadays they have only public contracts for the service. We want private contracts. They're starting with 2, 3, it depends on the cooperative, but some of them have more than 10 private contracts nowadays. We have this approach of environment, social, and governance. So we need to put that on the cooperatives. They want this. Quality and risk management systems on the cooperative, they want this. They asked for it this year. Technical assistance, we are trying to do this. Increase the income of the waste pickers and incorporate another waste pickers. We only have 1,800 working nowadays. In this cooperative we are going to visit on Wednesday, we have 1,500, but we have about 3,000 waste pickers in Brasilia, in another cooperatives. And this is a figure of João Melo. He did it for our classes. So we have the 4 steps we can work for. On the selective collection, I have some guy here in the photo. I think you recognize you here. And on the sorting, triage we call it, but the sorting facilities. On the transformation, they are thinking about transforming material here in Brazil. We don't have recycling industries in Brazil. We have to put them on a truck and send it to São Paulo, 1,000 kilometers from here. So if you think about the environment benefits, not very good. We're going to make the equation. And the commercialization, they don't sell it very good. You are going to visit this installation also in 2 days. So it was only to show you some details of the problem. If you don't have doubts, I have many, I can send to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And Now that all the context has been given, let's talk about the subjects and the projects that will be developed this week. So, one of our global students SDG coordinators, Gabriel Fiuza.
Hello everyone, thank you for your presence, thank you for being part of this project. So just to wrap this opening ceremony, so we can actually start the works tomorrow, I will just give you a brief overview of the current projects and the main challenges we have today with the projects that we already have, so you understand a little bit of why we need these events, and we need you to help us think on how to improve the project's portfolio, because we have lots of challenges to make it happen. As you saw, we have like a very complex problem with lots of stakeholders involved and lots of projects involved, so it's very hard to organize all of this. So the first projects that we have, the ones that we are working with it, the mobile education project, probably the Danish people are way more familiar with this one. It's the Educado app. So the idea of the mobile education is to provide education for the low-income people, to the way speakers and the way speakers' families. So we are making this app specifically for them, so it has to be a very easy-to-use app and this kind of stuff. But we also have like a project of IoT in selective collection. The idea is to optimize the selective collection in the residencies through intelligent sensors on the waste bins, so we can have like an optimized route for the truck to collect it, and only collect it when it's actually full. So we have a better selective collection. So the latest deliveries on this project is the sensor prototype. Now we need to understand how to actually implement the sensors and make it happen and actually optimize the routes. We also have Puma. Puma is a platform for unifying all the projects and managing all the projects in one platform. So it's more to integrate all this project and problem-based learning initiatives that we have, all the courses and stakeholders, and we can manage everything like more on the educational and project management side on only one platform. So we just had our first web version that is under approval, so it's developing. We also have a project for gamification for selective collection. This one focuses more on the people that generate the trash and has to sort their trash inside their houses. So like an app to help them and try to encourage them to actually sort their waste, so the waste pickers get a better material to work with. So this project's more initial. It's a project that's actually not going so far, but the idea is we just had like discovery and initial research to understand a little bit better how we can make this app. We also have the solid waste management in vertical condominiums, vertical apartments. This is a new project that we are developing this semester here at the University of Brasilia. And the idea is to optimize the waste management process inside the condominium, because we have like lots of apartments, lots of people generating their own trash. They need to organize this trash in one big container so the truck collected. And sometimes this process is very chaotic, so they mix the trash or they put the trash on the wrong day and the truck gets it wrong. So we need to actually organize it a little better. So we are actually like, now we are modeling the process as it is to understand its flaws and then propose a better process for this sorting. We also have a current project that we try to build a river waste collection machine that we could actually use in the lake as well, because as you may have seen yesterday, we have a big lake here in Brasilia, Lago Paranoá, and we have trash in that lake. So the idea is to build a machine that can collect this floating trash in the lake and then take it to the sorting and to the actual sorting and recyclable of these materials. And the latest deliveries was a prototype of the physical model a few semesters ago, but now this project hasn't been implemented yet. And we have our special project, and I mean special because it's not inside one of the disciplines, it's like an extension project. Well, we made a special squad for this one. There is the Zero Waste Embassy project that is an ongoing project, but the idea is to better manage the Danish embassy waste, and after that we can make it the same project like for other embassies and for other organizations, which is just the first one. So as you can see, we have like some main projects in this portfolio. We had way other projects before that didn't go, went to the implementation part and just died in the process. We had lots of different ideas beside that ones. But the main challenges, the first one, and I believe the main challenge is to add value to all the different stakeholders we have involved in the SDG challenge and the projects of the SDG challenge. Because inside the University of Brasilia, we have the production engineering students, and we have like 3 main disciplines that are connected with these projects. But we also have students from the mechanical engineering, the software engineering, so lots of students, lots of disciplines inside the university that we need to manage and connect and organize to add value in the projects we're making. But we also have Aalborg University and Aalborg University courses and students from software engineering, from cybersecurity. We can't forget, and they are the main stakeholders, the way speakers, cooperatives. It's for them that we are making these projects, and the community in general, because with helping them better sorting the waste, we can also help the community in general. So lots of stakeholders, lots of different demands and different communication issues that we have, so it's very hard to manage all of this. But we also have some additional challenges. So the first one is the non-complementarity between the deliveries of disciplines. So it's not always everything perfectly connected between one discipline and the other. Sometimes we have gaps that make it hard to actually continue one project from one semester to the other. It's the last problem that, but the continuity between semesters is very hard because we have like 6 months, a group of students working that project, and then we start a new project based on the same team, but with different students working on them, and the knowledge management is not that good yet. We have different schedules between universities. Our semester is different from your semesters, and we need to work together, so that's an issue sometimes. And the client, basically the waste speakers cooperatives, they doesn't get the products that we are making yet, so we have few, not to say anything, implemented actually, but they spend a lot of time giving us information and having visits, so they give an effort to us to help us, but we are not delivering it so much yet, so we need to change that. We need to actually implement stuff that actually helps them, and not just build projects that will just go on the drawer. So that's the main challenges we have. As you can see, they are very difficult to solve, but we are trying to organize this event, this new edition, the 7th edition of the SDG Challenge, a little bit different to try to make projects work a little better. So during the week, we'll have the 6 phases of developing the projects. You may have seen something about it in the schedule, but just to give a brief overview. Tomorrow morning, we'll have the discovery phase. It's the idea is to understand a little bit better about the project that we want to develop during this week. We already have the teams. The idea is to understand a little bit more the context. We will have professors and staff helping you and giving you a little bit more information. Today was just more like the overall stuff. Tomorrow in the afternoon, we'll have the brainstorming and the definition of the initial proposal. So we need initial ideas, so on Wednesday morning, when we go to the waste speakers facility, we can actually validate our initial ideas and actually see if it makes sense and if it helps them actually. Then, on the Wednesday afternoon, we'll have the adjustments, consolidation of the ideas, organizing. Then on Thursday afternoon, we'll have the final validations, the documentation of the project. This documentation part is very important. So you will receive guidelines with what information we need in these documents, but it's based on these documents that we'll be able to actually implement these projects during the semester. So it's a very simple document, but it's just the general informations of the project proposals you develop, so we don't get any information lost between the event and the actual semester where we are executing it. And the last phase, on Friday morning, you develop a pitch, a small presentation, to present to us all your ideas on the Friday afternoon. So a little bit more organized steps to develop these projects, try to make them a little bit more robust. And during the event, really remember about the way speakers. They are our general stakeholder, but we need to integrate all the other students and stakeholders to actually be able to implement the projects we are making. Remember to really document the important stuff so you don't forget any crucial idea or information that you are developing during this week. And yeah, count with us to help you, assist you with anything, give you more information, more context during the event. But the more important part is not just presentations and speaking, it's actually the working that we will make during the week. So focus on that and we'll have an amazing week. Before I end, you want to compliment?
Thank you so much, Gabriel. It's just, I know you have put in the official projects documentation, but just about the project, the other project that we also, that are also there in the official project, but I think it wasn't in this presentation specifically, the community garden and stuff, the community garden. Oh yeah. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It was just to make sure that all the projects were encompassed, but we will approach them, all of them. Beautiful.
And just to wrap everything up, yeah, we'll end this opening ceremony a little bit earlier than expected, but it's important to emphasize that we really believe young people must be the protagonists for a sustainable future. It's not just beautiful words. We actually believe and work based on that phrase, so really embrace that, really be engaged during the event, really understand that you have the power to make a difference, even a small one. So thank you very much, and let's go to work.
Thank you, Gabriel. It's definitely a lot of work, but I'm sure everyone here is a lot excited to be working from tomorrow morning to Friday, where we have the presentations. So anything you need, you can contact us, mainly me and Gabriel, and Mateus if needed to me. And, well, we couldn't have asked for a better way to close this opening event. And we are early on our programming, so we're going to have a coffee break that is planned for a little later, so if you all can stay and chat. But before we finish, I'd like to open it for questions. If anyone has any doubts about the programming, about how it's going to work, about the SDG. You have one?
So, my question is, I saw that Luisa just arrived, so I would like just to know what is her, like, what is she going to say for us about all this process? Anything? Perfect, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, so that was the question because Luis is also part of the coordinating team.
Yes.
Together with Gabriel. Jens, also a question? Perfect. Wonderful. So let's pass the microphone.
Well, I actually had a question for Paulo Celso for your presentation, because I was curious that now we have been doing this project for 5 years, and I was curious what impact has it done for the waste pickers so far, both the products from the project, but maybe also the process?
Yes. Thank you for the question. I have here Professor Terez is a great friend, I said, from the Art Institute here, and working for recycling of papers. And we are... Okay. and the cigarettes also. So cigarette, how it is, but, and he has the patent for this. And we are exactly here, we three, to make this evaluation in this month and write an article about that. But I can't tell you what we have. For me, it's very, very interesting because 6 years ago, I talked with the waste speakers in the open dump about starving. We must find someone to give them food. And that was the idea. And social assistance was the principal things we talk about. And nowadays, they only sit with me to talk about contracts. So then they say, the contract's not good. I said, I'm not in the government anymore. I'm out of the government for 4 years. I'm in university. But they said, but you can help us because the contract's not very good. So I'm working with them, looking for contracts nowadays. That's my role with them. Besides the SDG also. But nowadays you know Aline, didn't you? Knew Aline, the president of the Centcop. Aline, the last time she was here. Aline, you were here? You were here in the last year? No. And she came here as the president of the Centcop. We are going to visit. And she was the one who passed the presidential session to Lula. And if you see the photo, the picture, the person who gives the president the session was Aline. And she's very... Márcia, if you want, and when she talks to me nowadays, she's always traveling, and she's trying to make it better. So, Ian, no, you are going to see the facility works better, but they have problems. They have never worked with machines. So we have people from mechanical engineer here thinking about that. But this evaluation we are going to do now, this year. We had the COVID and the university was not very good last year. We made 3 semesters in 1 year. We are in the speed. So now we are going to make it normally this year. So I think in 2 or 3 months we are going to publish it. But I can tell you, only this dialogue is not about starving, it's about contracts. I think it's wonderful. You change their lives. But we have a professor, Vanessa, in Ceilândia, that works with things about their wealth. She's monitoring their health the last 4 years. 6 years, she started in the open dump. So we have the wealth conditions of these waste speakers. And the economic conditions is not that good. But nowadays, 6 years ago, they didn't have social security. And nowadays, they have. So it's another change. But the production, the system, the process, they change from the open dump. You can see it. But we are trying to make it good for them. We didn't find yet a good process. So we have the production engineer here working, 6 teachers here, 6 professors, and 100, almost 200 students thinking about that. But how Matheus said, it's a complex, there are many complex problems, and it's not that easy to find their solutions. Because I said here, I don't want to give them the solution. They don't want. They want to make the solution with us. And they want to talk about the solution. And they have the feeling they have the better solution. And sometimes we don't agree about the solutions. And that's the work we're doing. The solutions they want, some engineers and some people say, no, that's not the best solution, but we want this solution. And we have to talk, and that dialogue, it's very good for us and for them. And we think we are changing it. Every month, they are a little better. But the numbers about this, we are going to have this in 2 months, I think. Okay?
Thank you.
Oh, I'm here alone? They are very efficient, the students here. We finished almost 1 hour before.
But then maybe I can add something as well, because I actually spoke a lot also with you, Matheus, about impact and what is impact. And what we talked about was that it was also for the waste pickers a new experience to actually be involved in the way that there was so much interest and interaction about finding solutions, not, as you say, not finding solutions for them, but finding solutions together with them and inviting them here, that we are coming to see the facilities, that we are discussing with them how you can do different improvements, that it's maybe not the fastest process in the world, and maybe it would be easier that we get an idea, we implement it, and we give it to them. But in order to succeed and make something work, the fact that they are so involved in the process is actually also part of making a sustainable solution. That's something we discussed, and I think it's a very good point.
Yes, it's interesting because the project of the facility we're going to visit, we made it together with them. Some of them, you have some of them, they are not anymore here. They are working in other places. But we discussed with them in 6 months, 8 months discussing to make the project. I was in the team. And nowadays, some of the problems came from the project. You understand? They create the problem with us. We create the problem together. So we have to solve the problems that we created together. They say, no, the project was done by engineers. No, we talked a lot, many meetings to have the final project of this facility we're going to visit. And now, I can tell you there, I can point to you, they asked for that, and that they asked for, we had to put it in project, and nowadays they want to put it out. You know, I'm a civil engineer, and when people ask for a house, you make the project. And during the project, everybody say, no, you can change this wall, you can change this door, you can change this window. And then he said, I don't want this window here, but you asked for this window. I don't want this door, but you asked for this door. So let's cut the door. But now it's operating. It's operational there, and we have to talk with them. We don't have money, we don't have the funding to change it, but they have, just to say a number, nowadays they spent 300,000 reais every month to pay for that place. They receive the place, they don't pay for the construction, and don't pay for the ground, the site, but to make you say, maintain this, the security and water and electricity and everything, it's about 300,000 reais every month. And when I say this, people say, waste speakers, yes. They have to put 300,000 reais every month to pay for the services other people do for them. And we are talking about how they cannot pay this. Other services can pay this for them. Because they are proud of being the owner of the place, the site. They own the site. In the site, they say what you can do, what you can't do. So they manage the place. And, but they have to pay 300,000 reais every month. It's about, if you talk about 1,000, it's about 500 reais everyone each month that can earn more. So they have some complaints about this pay. I said, it's not my problem. You asked to manage the place. I said, since the principle, it was not good, it's going to be very expensive. So we were trying to make it. We are going to make it better. I think the best will be when when Mateus and Gabriel went there and managed the place with them. I'm very old to manage with them. SDG.
As long as you don't steal Mateus from me.
Okay. João Melo, please.
Maybe one way of evaluating the thing is when before closing the dump, the children were there. So there is Lucia said to us, she was gaining less money now than before. But now their children, their grandchildren have a future because they are in the school and not in the dump site. So this would be another kind of evaluation, is how many children we took out and how many children we could take out everywhere in Brazil or even in the world. Okay, it's something that we have some data here that could be in this social side. This would be for the people, not from the engineering people, but from the social sciences people. would be a very good thing to see how many children we got out of the dump site.
Come here. Anyone want to ask something more? Anything more? Yes, Edgar.
Hi, I'm Edgar. I'm professor of information systems and production project systems #2. So many of the projects that we developed together are in this course, together with Professor Márcia, Professor Carlos Maurício, and we work cooperatively with Professor Simone on PSP 5, where we add quality to project management, and we deal directly with the projects that you are going to develop on top of the demand of the problems that we face here. And we are the ones who gather the project ideas and bring out to the dump site managers, the cooperatives, and the waste pickers. And we are very proud to be part of this work. I'm speaking here in the name of Professora Simone as well, because we have a third course called the GPA, which is Advanced Project Management, where we also bring these problems about these many projects that are being built all separately in a way that they can be managed in a portfolio way. Oh, here's Professor Márcia. She was hiding. And we are dealing directly then with the students in Brazil who were created, also helped build a part of this state of condition where the projects are now, and also by understanding the problems directly with waste management teams, and also under the counsel of and views of Professor Paulo Celso and Professor João Melo. And we would like to also say that we were able to bring many kinds of solutions in many areas. We help improve the waste management process. We build ideas of how to organize the collection areas. We think of machines that can help drag garbage from the water surfaces. So we have many different areas to tackle on. We have also systems that we design to help waste pickers take decisions on top of their budgets or on top of the way they manage their production systems. So we are now with the challenge of how we can add value to all these many results, because we have maybe a portfolio of more than 30 projects in the last years that SDG and this international cooperation has powered us to bring to life. So we are now in this main at the same question as you just did. What are the main results, the main impacts that all these many different proposals have achieved? And we are under that line of thought, and we want to bring that out as well. What are the results? We're now producing projects, but how are the projects being implemented? How are they changing their lives? We know we have many results from the general view of how these lives have changed, but now we want to see the real impact of our SDGs outcoming projects on the life of these waste pickers. And I think that we have now opportunity to collect this data, now that we're going back there. Yeah. Also us, we are here in the university, locked up in our offices and classrooms. We have to get out there as well and ask them, how are these projects particularly being implemented and what the results are? So we need to add this. It's a new challenge. And as Paulo Celso said, as we bring new solutions, we are also bringing new problems. We really have to be on top of those to make them learned and visible. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for the interaction, everyone. Anybody have any more questions before we end? Yes, Maria Fernanda?
Thank you. So my name is Maria, and I have a question for Celso's presentation, please. Yes. So as you were speaking, I'd like to understand more why Brasilia doesn't recyclate our waste. You said previously that we only recyclate 4% of our waste, but I'd like to understand more why we don't recyclate 35% that you said we could. So if you could clarify that, I would very I would be very glad. Thank you.
Yes, you are going to see in 2 days because people does not separate the waste in their homes. And when the truck comes, it's a compactor truck, and it mix everything, and the paper does not, it's going to be very expensive to recycle it. So it becomes garbage. And the plastic, it's mixed, it's all mixed, it's very expensive to separate. You are going to see there. But that's the problem. We only have 8% of qualitative selection. It could be reached 35, 40%, but only 8% of all the garbage of Brasilia goes to selective collection. And from this 8%, about 50%, it's the 4%, they select, they make the sorting work. It passes from a belt like this, and they took it from the belt. That the work of the speaker is like, I want this metal here. It passes, and oh, it's good. And the rest go to the end of the belt, and goes to the landfill. So this work, we can make it more efficient. I think we can put from 4 to 6%. But to reach the 35%, only with machines. We need machines to help them. But this first step, we need to put them in the work in a building is what the first step. I think the second step is to put some sensors, some IoT there, and they can improve this work and put from 4 to 8, 12%, I think. But it's only it's not a good number because we have to make this research that Edgar said, and to have some numbers, real numbers, only intuition.
And we don't have the technology.
It's not a problem of technology, it's a
It's
problem
about
of
the
future.
machines. Yeah.
You are going to see in 2 days. You're going to see the end of the belt, plastic, 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 plastic. You say, well, why they don't pick the plastic? I will say, ask them. I don't know.
Okay, thank you so much.
If you keep the cup of yogurt. Inglês yogurt? Yogurt, Inglês yogurt. Huh? A cup of yogurt, a small cup of yogurt. And in your home, you clean it and put selective collection. It goes to the end of the belt, and it goes to the landfill. It's very small. They will not do this effort here, this kind of movement for these small pieces. For the small pieces, you need the machine. And I think it's a second step, not now.
Okay, thank you.
Romel has more to say.
Because she's my student, so I have to answer her. The thing is that I think I will talk something in classroom is regarding how much money the government is giving for the waste speakers in terms of what they collect. They have how they sell it, and how if they have here 1,000 tons, they receive 1,000 tons in subsidy of the government. So, if that thing doesn't have any commercial value, they don't pick it, because the commercial value is much higher than the one they are receiving from the government. So, it is a pricing thing. What is the environmental cost of putting this thing down in the earth? So, the subsidy should have some kind of pricing, okay? So it's a pricing strategy. It's in a commercialization step of our process. The pricing system, not the government pricing system of remunerating with subsidies, it has to be some done. It's very good now, which was very good 5 years ago. But now we have to change it because we are seeing that yogurt doesn't have any commercial value. So they don't pick it. And it goes to the nature. So it's a problem of pricing also, okay?
Understood. Thank you so much, Professor.
So this is engineering economics. That is your area, I think.
Yeah, it is my project area.
So this is something that you should be saying in next class, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Mello and Maria. Any other questions? No? All right, then. Thank you all very much for your presence, your attention, and we start on the development of the projects tomorrow morning. So anything you need, we have a WhatsApp group so we can communicate as well. And for now, we have a humble coffee break for all of you waiting outside. And we'll see a lot of each other during the next week. Get some rest, because tomorrow it's the real deal, already starting with the projects. And remember, create, innovate, and build. So the 2023 SDG Challenge has started. Thank you.